pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Flight outside speed off. Speed off.
Yikes. You bet. Okay. We don't need any more of these.
All right, folks, look at this. We've got another live stream from Boca Chica, Texas. Some crane operations happening next to Starship SN5. That is the Starship prototype that hopped over to the landing pad. You see it on right now. Y'all know how the stream starts. Let me know that you can hear me. You won't be able to see me. All we want to see is Starship right now, but just let me know that our audio is looking good. Let's see if we've got some ambient audio over there. There should be a bunch of beeping noises. Let's see here. Check the monitor on that. Stand by. Yeah, we're getting a little bit there. The mic level seems a little low, so we'll check in with Mary in just a second and see how that mic is plugged in. I'm John Galloway with NASASpaceflight. If you're watching me over on Twitch, you may know me as DOS. With me, I've got Michael Baylor. Michael, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
I was just making sure that they could hear you and I had your microphone enabled correctly, etc., etc. But it looks like you're working just fine. We are operating the live stream here today. And of course, we have the live video feed of the operations around Starship SN5 because Mary, Boca Chica gal, is out there in the heat in South Texas, setting up the camera. She's been taking still shots. She's been taking zoomed in shots. She set up this camera here. This is actually a different camera we're trying out today. And I believe we'll have her on comms. She is super busy running the other cameras right now, but as soon as she gets back over, she will probably pipe up and let us know. We didn't want to bother her, but she went through the trouble of setting up the live stream camera here. So, of course, we're going to share it with you. Michael, it looks like Starship is about to get moved around.
Yeah, we think they're about to put it onto that large black stand they brought in on the roll lift the other day. I don't know where the stand is on this frame, though. Mary, do you know where I don't know if Mary can hear us, but where is the stand right now?
Yeah, she did tell us that she was stepping away for a
Oh,
second.
my bad. She's probably
Yeah.
filming something. I missed that. Okay. Well, there is a black stand. It might be behind a crane right now. There's a black stand they're going to lift the Starship onto, and that's what we expect to see here shortly.
Yep, and you know something? I wanted to get this video up because we had the video yesterday, right? We did the live stream, the sunset hangout, chilling out, just watching, sitting next to the Starship SN5 and answering some questions. But it was really difficult to get a context because it was just there by itself. It looked like a water tower. It looked like a percolator. You could put coffee in it and just reach out and grab it. But look at the people on the crew lifts, those cherry pickers, I don't know what the boom lifts. Look at the size of the people up near the top right now, 2 different lifts working, and look at the size of SN5. I mean, look at the waggle around. There's a forklift down there on the lower right. In fact, there's someone walking past the forklift right now. There's a little line sort of going down there, and you can get a sense of scale on Starship SN5 with people standing next to it, I think you should say, right?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
you can, Mary.
Mary, we've got you. How you
Okay.
doing out there?
All right. Yeah. I don't know that they're going to put it on the stand. They don't.
Yeah.
They didn't bring the stand over, or if they're just going to put those pipe stands.
The cribbing, like the levelers or something like that?
No. The I think they were pipe stands. They're called.
Pipe stands, okay.
They usually have those underneath the mount.
Yep. Like down under the
You know,
skirt
the
down
transport mount.
there? Ah. Gotcha.
And they've got those set around the perimeter of the bottom of SN5.
Yeah. So again, y'all, we're live here. That's Mary you hear there. Let me know that you can hear Mary okay. If you need me to turn her up or down a little bit or something like that, just let me know. I've got all sorts of buttons to click over there. Also, Mary, it sounds like there's a little bit of a breeze out there, which we're not going to complain about because it's good for you.
Yeah, I know. But I will mute myself and tend to my camera here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for getting this set up there for us. Y'all, I know we can hear a little bit of wind noise there, but it's a good thing because we don't want Mary to melt out there in South Texas literally on the side of the road. Mary sounding good, can hear her just fine. Nicolay said, "Hi, Mary. Thanks for everything you do." A lot of people saying thanks as always, Mary. But you tend to your other cameras. I know you look like I don't know about the paparazzi. That's sort of a negative connotation. You look like some sort of camera installation with all the cameras that you have, so you can capture these things and share them with people on a daily basis. Literally recording history as SpaceX works on these Starship prototypes that Elon Musk says one day we'll be carrying people and cargo to Mars, making us a multi-planetary species. So y'all know the deal. Since we're live, if you got questions for us, tag us in chat at NASASpaceflight. I know, let me see. I should be over on Twitch as well. Yeah, Grain Silo. There you go. If you've got questions on Twitch, you can tag me as well. Y'all know how to find me on Twitch. Let me see here. This is a great one to start. And Michael, I may need some help here. Jack joining us as well. Jack, how are you doing, Jack?
Hanging out, just watching this grain silo get hooked up to a crane and whatnot.
Watching the grain silo. Nice, man. Jack is another one of our hosts and video editors here with NASA Spaceflight, and he is going to be hanging out with us too. But I wanted to start with a question here. Let me find the question again because I clicked off it. There we go. Do we know how many hours or days post-flight it took for SN5 to detank, or have the internal pressures reduced to safe level? I think all we really have on that is informed speculation, if I'm not mistaken. We didn't get an official word from SpaceX saying we opened the valves and let it boil off for 3 hours or whatever, right? That's not what we do. But Jack, Michael, what do y'all want to comment on how they safed this vehicle? We knew that it had some leftover methane, leftover oxygen in it. What do you think they did, or what are the options?
I think he just cracked open the valves and let it sit there in the Texas sun for a day or two until, whatever maths that I am not smart enough to do would indicate that it, any possible residual propellant would have been boiled off. So I think that's why we saw them take a little while to reopen the road. And after a certain point, I think you can generally figure based on math and logic, if the valves are open and if it's been sitting in the sun at whatever temperature, we know that there will be no more remaining cryogenic propellants in there after, X point. And then you probably, and this is me guessing, probably add in like another 50% or, another chunk of time beyond whatever your math says, just so you have margin and you're extra double, triple sure. And then you go and go up to the vehicle. But I don't know, Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would have said. Basically, they didn't have the ground support equipment attached to it like they normally do, so they didn't have a great way to drain the propellant. So instead, they just had to likely let it boil off over the course of what was several hours, I guess, over a day.
Yeah. Did we see any ground support equipment hooked up to it? We know it's not on the launch stand right now, right? So it's missing all the fixed position lines that normally plug into it to fill it with methane, to fill it with oxygen, all the other gases it needs to purge things. Have we seen like a mobile ground support truck plug into it and flush it with nitrogen or anything?
Well,
No,
Mary
Go
would
for
point
it.
out there was something yesterday, right? There was that hose hooked up to it.
There was some
Yep.
sort of hose and a nitrogen truck or something, I
Yeah.
think, right?
It was
You
either
can
nitrogen
actually-
or helium. I think it was helium because nitrogen is like a normal tanker truck, and helium trucks are the ones that are like a series of small, thin tubes all clustered together. So I'm pretty sure it was a helium truck, but that's me guessing because I didn't
No,
quite
it was
get
nitrogen.
It was
Compressed
nitrogen?
Yeah,
Really?
compressed nitrogen. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Mary.
Weird.
Yep.
Again, we rely on Mary. She's our eyes and ears on the scene out there. So sometimes we just sort of float a question like that, and Mary's got the answer. Mary, thank you for that.
That's crazy. I didn't know they transported nitrogen like that. That's news to me.
Yeah. But maybe they had they used that vehicle with, it's a tanker truck with some tanks on the back of it to flush some of the systems, flush some of the pipes, make sure we don't have a pipe filled with methane. The interesting thing about the propellants in this vehicle are that at normal temperatures and pressures, they're a gas, right? So oxygen, if you just let oxygen in the atmosphere, it's a gas. It's not a liquid. You either have to compress it a lot or you have to get it really cold to make it change into the liquid state. Same thing with methane. Normally, methane is a colorless, odorless gas. And in order to get as much methane into the fuel tank as possible, you condense it down. You want to get it really cold. You want to pressurize it, and that'll turn it from a gas, which is a less dense phase phase of matter to a liquid, which is a denser phase of matter, right? So both of the things that they would pump into this SN5, I guess, these tanks are normally wanting to be gases. And so if all you do is just crack open some valves, you will let them sort of boil off. Literally the right terminology. They boil because their boiling point is below ambient temperature. They boil. I don't actually know what their boiling point is. Somebody could look that up really quickly. I'm not going to spout off the boiling point of liquid oxygen at standard temperatures and pressures. Standard pressures, I guess, because the temperatures would vary. Anyways, whatever. Y'all get the point. You crack open the valves, it cleans itself out. Maybe there's some valves or something or lines that still have methane in them, and maybe that was the purpose of that nitrogen truck that Mary observed with a line hooked up. Maybe they were flowing an inert gas. Nitrogen's not very dangerous. What is it, like 70%, I think, of the atmosphere is nitrogen?
Yeah,
I
something like that.
took a guess
70,
at that.
73, somewhere in there. Which is 70 is
Yeah.
a safe guess, yeah.
70 is pretty safe. My daughter would know. She did like some earth science stuff this year, so I think she could answer that one for us. But anyways, they were.
Can I make a
safe and-
prediction?
Sure.
So in the same way that when Falcon 9 lands on the autonomous spaceport drone ships, and that they have like an octograbber, a little Roomba type robot come out from a little garage and sort of attach itself to the Falcon 9 and kind of secure it to the deck and all that. I bet in the same way that octograbber little robot thing exists, I bet we will see something similar at Boca Chica for Starship, because having to crack the valves and let the thing sit there for 2 days, that's 2 days that they could have, I don't know, put this thing back on a mount and hopped it again. So if they really want to scale up the speed of their operations there, in the same way that they're designing the factory around the rocket as they design the rockets, I think they're designing the launch pad and their launch pad ops and their ground support ops and the tank farm, all of this. I mean, just look at the methane recondenser, switching to that from the flare stack. We will see all of this situation, at the launch pad evolve over time as they firm things up, and it becomes less of a test pad and just a single test stand and more of an active launch site with vehicles that need to be cycled. So that is a long-winded way of me saying I bet you we'll see some kind of little GSC Roomba type thing that will scoot over to a landed vehicle, connect to it, and either purge everything or pull all the residual prop out or something like that, so that the vehicles and the pads can be approached more rapidly. That's just a complete out of nowhere guess of mine, but I bet you we'll see something like that sooner rather than later.
Jack, that's a great guess. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to call it the Mega Hexagrabber, because we know that on the drone ship, the Falcon 9s have 4 legs. We have a thing that goes underneath it, the Roomba Octograbber, because you've got sort of a 4x symmetry thing going on. Kerbal players shout it out, right? 4x symmetry on the landing legs on Falcon 9. And so we have an Octograbber that sort of maps with that 4x, 8x symmetry. It's a multiple. Here on Starship, if they stay with 6 legs, because there were 6 little bitty landing nubs that came out of the bottom. If they stay with 6, I imagine that whatever they attach to the GSC with has to also match that 6x symmetry. So it's either going to be 6 or 12. I doubt it would be 3, just because you want to spread that mass out. Because look at the people walking around the base of SN5 right now.
So cool.
That's the scale of that thing. Gah.
And it goes to show, honestly, how small Raptor is. Raptor's a tiny little engine, and it can put out an insane amount of thrust, and that's why they're able to pack so many into that 9-meter diameter there. But yeah, I bet you we will see some kind of weird, cute little hexabot or hexagrabber or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it right now, hexagrabber.
Hexagrabber.
Yeah, I bet you we'll see something like that at some point, and especially with Elon tweeting recently that they want to do multiple small hops. I forget what the exact verbiage of his tweet was, but it said like smooth out the launch process or something like that. And I bet you, part of the launch process is in fact landing, because that's the whole point of reusability. So as they smooth out that launch process, I bet you we see some kind of hexagrabber. Anyways, I just wanted to make a pie in the sky prediction there while you inspired me.
I'll make another comment because I saw it scroll through from chat. One of the big purposes of the Octograbber on the drone ship is connect to the bottom of the landed Falcon 9 because it's not in a stable situation. It's on the open seas. It's on the open ocean, and you've got waves coming by. The drone ship is actually moving it back to port. So one of the things that they're trying to do is secure it to the deck and also try to move the center of mass lower. You've got your 9 engines down on the bottom. It's sort of a bunch of empty fuel tankage, grid fins, and stuff like that at the top. But you want that center of mass on the Falcon 9 to be as low as possible so that you hit some waves on the way back home and you don't tip that thing over. They want to get it back to port safely. So on this one, maybe it's not as important since it's on solid ground to bring that center of mass down or to firmly attach it to the ground. That's a good point. I saw that scroll through, and in the sake of completeness, I could see that. I would love. So if there was a bot that maybe wasn't going to affix it to the ground, but instead, if it could go over there and hook up to the GSE lines, and they could drain the tank more rapidly, or drain the tanks or safe the vehicle more rapidly, because this autonomous robot goes over and connects to the existing GSE lines on the ground, and then something else plugs, it drains it out, cycles it out, whatever. And that was a way to rapidly safe that vessel instead of just waiting for it to blow off. Maybe that would be a purpose of an automatic, like a robot to go over there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I was only drawing the similarities to Octograbber and showing that they do have autonomous robots that do things to rockets after they land. Obviously, Octograbber is a little bit different, but yeah, I could totally see them doing that, having a little GSE bot that comes up and connects to the vehicle, like you just said. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I also want to see Zeus ride the Hexagrabber over there and then hop off and walk around and look at stuff.
And then I see what was the name? I see Martin Nilsson in chat saying, I don't see them building a Hexagrabber for 10-ish experiments. Well, I mean, Elon has talked about pursuing not only Boca Chica, not only Kennedy Space Center, but also like an ocean setup, like a sea platform, and they've even shown that in renders and whatnot. So this could also be the sort of thing that not necessarily is only useful for these 10 or however many experiments they do at Boca Chica, but could also be useful in the event they actually do end up pursuing some sort of crazy sea platform or what have you. So I do think it's pretty much likely. If I was doing like high stakes SpaceX or whatever like that, I would totally take that bet. I think it's pretty much a given at this point, but it's me completely guessing. Anyways.
Well, also remember, this isn't an entire Starship. This is the fuel tankage, the aft skirt, the landing gear, and the Raptor engine, sort of. The mass simulator that's up on the top, that big square hat, the cubic hat, rectangular hat that they has on, that's to simulate the rest of Starship. And remember, at some point, Elon wants these starships to come back down from orbit. So it's not just, Hopper needs to hop 10 times and then we're done. This is an evolving system that they're trying to actually bring back in this format with landing legs, tail landing, belly flop maneuver, landing on pads like this. So they could, in fact, design some sort of automatic safing system to approach the vehicle and get it all ready to go. And that may be something that's useful for literally thousands of Starship flights. Again, this isn't just, we just got to hop it like 5 times and then we're good to go. We're done. This is the evolving design they're working on. So let me go.
Joseph says, sorry, last thing about it. Joseph says dodeca grabber. If it's 12. I think 12 is dodeca, duodeca, something like that. Yeah,
that sounds more like a Pokemon to me.
Hey, I'd catch it. Gotta catch them all.
I'd catch it. Real quick, Thor Arn Christofferson, thank you so much for joining the membership here at NASASpaceflight. And then Vincent Guardiola, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. I'm going to make a prediction. One of the modems we're on right now is probably going to die over the course of the stream because it's been giving us lots of data, and it may run out during this stream. We'll see, but we're able to get more data for the modems because of y'all's support. Thank you so much for that. And then also, while I'm running my mouth, Rough Rider Show, you guys think they move SN6 out and SN5 back into the VAB for post-flight inspection. So shall we wax poetic on our predictions for where this thing may go? Is it going to go back to the test stand?
I thought the same thing about maybe they might take it back to the VAB, but at this point, Chris B in NASASpaceflight in chat says, "Godspeed that modem." uh,
I think it's going back to the launch site, but that's me. I don't. Well, they can't really bring out SN6 right now until the launch stand is prepared. I think so.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
we
exactly what I
don't
was
know
gonna
for
say.
sure, but I think it's most likely that they will fly SN5 again if they are able to before they fly SN6.
Yeah, I think they'll take it either back to the launch stand or they'll take it. I think it's more likely they would take it to the restaurant before they would take it to the production site again, because, like you said, the production site is basically full right now. The mid bay has SN6 and what we think is SN8 in it, so there's really nowhere to put an SN5. So launch site it is. I think, and they have that little stand, and so it seems like they might not even put it on the launch mount. They might just pick it up, put it back on a stand next to the launch mount, and then do some inspections and whatnot. So that's my guess is launch site.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we know that they're hooking equipment. We know that the roll lift went over there and sort of sniffed it out. Mary got some awesome pictures of the roll lift there. And clearly the crane with the load spreaders attaching on the top, that truck needs to keep on moving. Thank you, sir. Drive through. And and we've got people up. It looks like the workers that are on the lifts are up near the top securing those load spreader connection points. It looks like there's 6 different points where they connect that thing to the top of SN5 or the top of the prototype to lift it up. So are they just going to sort of lift it up and slide something underneath it here? Are they going to lift it up and move it somewhere? Are they going to lift it up and then the roll lift's going to magically appear and carry it off? We don't know. I guarantee you that Mary will be stalking
I think
it.
Mary's right.
Yeah.
I think they're just gonna slide those. I don't know what they're called, but those brick-like things under it just to take the load off the landing legs.
Yep.
And then they'll probably either remove the landing legs or fold them up.
Pipe stands. Look, you
Pipe
can see them. You can see them delivered in the daily update with the SN5. Hang on, let me grab it with a timestamp. I'll throw
Jack,
it in.
if you give it to me, I'll put it on the screen in the pip.
Yeah, looking at them and having Mary identify the name as a pipe stand, it just suddenly hit me that we actually saw those delivered on a flatbed truck, and I think I might have even labeled them as like unknown parts or something like that.
Unknown parts. Did you do it with an accent like that?
I could have, but yeah, I think those were actually the pipe stands being delivered, which would make sense. They don't even have to put it on a separate mount or anything. They can just lift it up with the crane, set it on some stands, get up under there, and do whatever inspections they need to do. Let's see if I can find that really quick.
All right. Good.
Yeah, it seems like the goal right now is just to get the weight off the landing legs so they can probably either remove the landing legs or fold them back up. I'm not sure how reusable these current landing legs are with that crumple zone. I don't know if it's actually crumpling or just getting compressed, but
yeah.
But it seems like they probably will want to inspect those at the very least.
The trick is they look so simple, right? So it almost looks like you could NASCAR it and go in there and take a couple landing legs off, put some new landing legs on, and call it a day.
It does.
It really does. I mean, they're just bolted on, it looks like. So it's not some big complicated structure. It looked like a spring to flip them over and then a latch that caught them in place when they flipped out to the bottom. So
I
ahead.
just linked in chat. They go by really quick, but they're on the back of a flatbed being brought up to SN5.
Right.
So if you just go to that, if you go to 4 minutes 1 second, I linked the timestamps in there. 4 minutes 1 second, just pause it. You'll see them on the back of the truck. They're kind of like ratchet and strapped down there.
Yeah,
Get
and
that
just really
queued up
quickly,
here. Go ahead.
Robert
Oh,
Hobson with a he's back again with a
We
$50.
love Robert back in here. Robert.
How many tanks can a tank watcher watch if a tank watcher can watch tanks?
How many tanks can a tank watcher watch if a tank watcher could watch tanks? There you go.
As many tanks as a tank watcher could watch if a tank watcher could watch tanks? Isn't that the answer there?
Yeah, there you go.
I tell you what, Robert, we get up early and we don't go to sleep until we've watched a lot of tanks. So.
And then Patrick with $2, he says yeet. Thank you, Patrick.
Was the 49.9 with that's not a limerick. Somebody do me a Starship 5 limerick. Robert with the poetical words there, and then we appreciate the yeet as well, Patrick. Thank you for the yeet. They're just gonna yeet. Go ahead.
Thank you for yeeting your $2 at us. We appreciate it.
I was gonna say something about yeeting Starship SN5 onto the whatever. Look, I'm
That
like
works
40
too.
years old. I can't say the word yeet with a straight face. My daughter's gonna come in here and like throw something at me, or give me one of those eye roll stares. So, so I did get this queued up. Let me see if I've got this online here. Show me picture in picture. Aha. So watch this, right? This truck looks like a hotshot truck. Slow down. This
Bam.
is the truck we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You see those?
Are
see
they
those
the
black?
big, like the
Yeah.
ratchet strap down?
Yeah, those are the pipe stands.
Aha.
And
I'll
I'll
circle
link
them real
that.
quick.
I'll link that in chat so everybody in chat can take a look.
You can
Yeah.
see one on the bottom right of SN5 right now, and you can tell it's just slightly taller than SN5's current gap to ground. So that would presumably be high enough to take the weight off the landing legs.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so I was looking at this right here. I got to reboot my tablet, but those were a little bit small on this screen, I guess. If I can do that real quick. Can we have present full? Will it come online?
Drum
Yeah,
roll.
whatever. It's a YouTube video. Surprise! There you go. So
Pipe stands.
I think y'all are aware that it's a YouTube video already. So, anyways, those were the pipe stands we were looking at there. Let's switch on back to the other way. There we go. And bring that offline. Excellent. I have to recalibrate my drawing tablet, or it wants me to restart my computer or something. That's not happening right now, Wacom. I'm not restarting my computer. So, anyways, I guess they continue to sort of move the lifts around the side. We saw them inspecting one of those connection points up at the top, and then they're sort of moving around to the other points. Go ahead.
They're hooking it up. They're hooking up that lifting bridle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because I think there's six attach points or something. Yeah, because it's a hexagon.
Yep.
So they go around and attach each little attachment point. So we should be seeing this thing lifted up pretty soon here, which is kind of nifty.
So I'm going to point out something really quick. Look at the side of Starship. It's so shiny, you can see the reflection of the crane in the skin of Starship.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? Even the lift, you can see the reflection of the lift going up the side of it.
I am so excited for I don't know, the next decade or two of photographing these vehicles, because there's going to be such crazy photo opportunities when they're, crazy, like reflecting the twilight gradient where the sun on the horizon just goes like every single color, or like, I don't know. It's a really beautiful vehicle, and I'm excited to see what it looks like in photos going forward.
Yeah. Jack, you know what I just remembered? The other night when we got the hop, we were getting ready in such a hurry. I think we went live like 40 minutes before the hop occurred, or something like that. And we were jumping things around, trying to get modems online. Mary's running 3 cameras, getting all set up, and we had something to show that we didn't show. So I'm just gonna put this on the screen really quickly. The Texas Tank Watchers hat.
Yeah, we did the shirt, and everyone loved the shirt, and we got a couple requests for a hoodie, and we got a couple requests for the hat. So there you go. There's the hat.
I think in the first like 60 minutes of us putting those t-shirts up, like 100 people bought t-shirts, and they were begging for a trucker hat. They were begging for a hoodie. So we made this is like a trucker style hat, a couple different colors too. There's like a brown variant, and there's a blue variant, and the tan variant for the hot place. I just realized we never got a chance to show that the other day, and I figured I'd link it up really quickly. I'll put a link in chat if anybody wants to check it out, but it's the sellout mode disengaged, I guess. All right.
Drake says liquid nitrogen is taken via cold tanker truck. Gaseous nitrogen, what they used for the purge, can be stored in cylinders like compressed air. So that was about what we were talking about earlier with that nitrogen truck that Mary spotted.
There you go. That makes sense. I guess the use of it, if you have it in liquid format, you have to have some way to, God, what's the right terminology going to be there? Vaporize it, turn it from a liquid to a vapor. You have to have something that allows that. Whereas if you're just carrying a gas around, you can probably simplify the operation. Just sort of hook up a hose or something, huh? That actually makes good sense. Hey, Thundergar, appreciate you. Thundergar is a longtime viewer of my Twitch stream, like 52 months. I appreciate you stopping in, Thundergar. We're doing another joint broadcast with NASA Spaceflight here, but I saw that come through. I didn't want to miss it. Mad Hump, thank you as well. God, did I miss anybody else? No. There we go. There was a question
Yeah.
over here. They don't seem to be going in order because we've already seen SN7 out there, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've seen 7
SN7.
and now they're doing 7.1. Go for it, Michael.
But I was gonna say those are like smaller test tanks, so they are much quicker to build compared to a full-scale Starship, which is probably why SN7 ended up going to the pad before SN5, because it did not take them very long to build SN7.
Yeah. That was,
It's
it didn't have a Raptor mount or anything on that,
Yeah.
right? It was just tankage to
Yep.
check the type of stainless steel, the pressures, the cryo test, that sort of thing,
well,
right?
it did have to have a thrust puck, right? But not like a full Raptor mount or a Raptor or anything like that on there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird to me that they, even though it's just a test tank and not a full up test article, that they chose to give it like a full serial number 7 name. It's not like test tank serial number 3 or something like that. Like they've just, if it's a ring section and they're going to use it, they're gonna call it a serial number. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Jack, do you want to grab some questions? I know that the queue has sort of loaded
Yeah,
up
sure.
here, but you
And
want to
then
grab a couple?
and then really quickly, I Googled gaseous nitrogen truck, and it's that exact truck. It's like a tube truck. It's exactly what we were talking about. So yeah, news. I learned something today. Hooray!
Excellent.
Let's see. Bum bum bum. Sebastian Kruger asks, when do you think humans will land on Mars? 2030.
2030.
I vote 20. Yeah, if you've listened to any of our streams and you've heard me babble for longer than 5 minutes at a time or so, you know I'm a hashtag Mars 2030. I think it's possible. I think it's doable. I think it's, dare I say, probable. I don't know if I'm that optimistic, but Mars 2030. Let's do it. We can. Why not?
Humans on Mars, right? Humans
Boots
on
on
Mars?
Boots on Mars 2030. Let's do it.
Boots on Mars.
Yeah.
And not like silly meme like, oh, we're gonna make a lander that carries a pair of boots to Mars. Haha. Like
No,
actual
no.
humans, human legs that are still connected to human bodies in boots that are making boot prints on the Martian soil. Regolith, whatever.
Yeah, like extrapolate out if everything goes the same as it's going right now. You know, the world doesn't end. There's no crazy nuclear war or anything like that. I would hope first useful cargo. And we've done this before, but so correct me if I'm wrong on the transfer windows. But there would be a potential Starship to Mars in the 2022 transfer window, and then another one. I think like 2024 or is it 2025, somewhere in there, and then another transfer window 2027. And so if you left the 2027 transfer window, you would get there like, you know, what is it, like 6 months, 9 months later? So potentially
it depends on your C3 and your energy on your trajectory, but 7, 8 months is pretty,
sometime in 2028 is when you would get there. So basically we would have to have a crewed flight to Mars either on the 2027 window, or I think the next window after that is 2029. So yeah, I think either of those is possible. I think 2029 is way more likely. So maybe it would be, you know, Mars 30 or 2031 more technically, or who knows how it would all line up. But I think 2030 is completely plausible if we get some cargo missions down quickly, and we can do that in 2022 and 2024, and then hopefully by then Starship is doing, you know, real work in the form of commercial missions, and the work to crew rate it can have been ongoing and hopefully completes. And I bring this interview up because it's just so good. There's a Gwen Shotwell podcast interview with Irene Klotz of Aviation Week, and Gwen straight up says that it takes them as long to crew rate Starship as it took them to crew rate Dragon, then her direct quote is, it would be a major company fail. So I think Crew Dragon was 6 years. So, you know, think about 2024, 2026, somewhere around there for crew on a test flight of a Starship, maybe low Earth orbit, or maybe a hop or something like that. So yeah, that's me just completely guessing, but I sure hope by 2030, because I won't be too old by then.
I got one for you. Talking about human beings going to Mars. when we went to the moon, right? We did Apollo 10. We did the loop around the moon. It was a very sort of managed progression. Let's
Yeah.
get somebody into space. Let's dock
Yeah.
2 things together in space with Gemini. Let's rendezvous. Let's get the Apollo capsules into Earth orbit. Let's put people. Let's go around the moon once, but no stopping. Right? You don't have enough fuel to actually land. If that myth is true, that saying's true. When we go to Mars for the first time, it's not a couple days away like the moon is. It's months away. The first time humans approach Mars in a spaceship, whatever type it is, do you think we land on the first time, or do we go out
That's
there
a
and we
really-
loop around and then?
That's a fantastic question. That is a really, really, really good question because I hadn't ever considered that. But you're completely right. And now I'm thinking, yes, I would say the first time we send humans to Mars, it's probably an Apollo 8 type setup. Apollo 8, right? Or 10. I forget. Oh God.
So
Where they just
which one are you talking about? The loop
where they
around
just
or the?
loop around.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think a loop around is totally plausible as a first, crewed flight to Mars. That would make perfect sense to me. Although to spend that long in a Starship, no matter how roomy, oh God, it's got to be bittersweet to go and not get to touch down and walk around.
yeah. I just I don't know. I'm curious as to how they do this. Clearly, there's still a long way to go before that decision's even made. It's just sort of pie in the sky thinking right now. But I hope that we see that in my lifetime. I mean, I'm not too old. I hopefully got some years left. I'd love to see the answer to that sooner rather than later. Let's say.
Yeah, I want
And-
it to happen before I'm too old to go.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's my ticking clock. But and yeah, if everyone's saying Apollo 8 is the loop around. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not insane.
Yeah, there you go. And I see some people over here also saying a loop around wouldn't work. I'd like you to direct you to the work of Buzz Aldrin, whose papers on the feasibility of what's called a Mars cycler would tell you maybe otherwise. Maybe we wouldn't go and orbit Mars and then come home, but maybe there would be something where we would do a flyby of Mars in a very specific manner that would allow us to come back to Earth expediently.
Yeah,
So
that's
the Mars cycler.
That's probably a good distinction that's worth making. An Aldrin cycler or something like that.
You got it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that would make sense. Obviously, we're drawing a comparison to Apollo 8, not necessarily like a 1-to-1, but a similar situation where you go really close, all the way up to it or close to up to it, but you don't actually land or touch down, just as a way to test all your systems and test your mental fortitude. Can we do this and not go straight up insane? So.
Hey, Chris B, and y'all, we're hanging out. This is Starship SN5. The crews brought the crane over next to it. They actually they have a couple of crew lifts that have workers up there at the top, attaching the load spreader up there at the top. You see the Y arms on the crane there sticking off the side, but we think they're about to pick this thing up. Clearly, it's a slow process. You want to make sure that it is very safe. You can see the scale of it. There's a little forklift down there on the right-hand side. I think somebody's standing next to it, sort of spotting, and that's the scale of a human being next to Starship SN5, which isn't even its final form, right? This is like 2/3 of a Starship. This is missing some pieces on the top, but we're just hanging out. We're talking about stuff. We're Texas tank watching right now. Mary Boca Chica gal had spooled up the live stream. We were testing out a new camera, sort of a low maintenance camera for things like this where we're just hanging out, but we're answering some questions. We're talking about random stuff. We appreciate y'all joining us here for this. This is definitely a chill hangout live stream more than a heart pounding will it hop live stream. It hopped. We're just hanging out now. Oh, Chris. So wait a second. Yeah, we can say that. It's Chris B with NASASpaceflight. Like Chris B actual said maybe they would go to Mars but not land on Mars. Maybe they would land on one of the moons of Mars.
That would be cool.
Because they're easier
like
to land
like
on.
Deimos or Phobos or whatever.
Yeah.
Less gravity.
There you
So
go.
can-
It's like a very
you can
Kerbal
leave
Space
easier.
Program thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but anyways, y'all, we're just hanging out answering some questions. Banana Dodo, one of my longtime buddies over there. How are you doing? And then Wendy Skunk as well with the tier 3. 58 months you've been hanging out around here. I'm trying to say hi to a couple of my regular Twitch people because I've been going live and not reading my chat as much. And they're like, what's wrong with Das? He's not reading chat. So we're rectifying that. We're hanging out, and I appreciate everybody on all sides showing up to. Oh, The lift came down. Look,
Hey,
Yeah.
look
while
at
I
that.
was running my mouth, the lift is down at half lift mast or whatever you would call that.
I got a question for you, Das. If
Sure.
Starship can refuel in orbit, is it even affected by Mars transfer windows?
In
I.e.,
orbit of Earth?
can it go to Mars at any point? Carl Furstenberg asks.
Well, so the way that works, you can go to Mars anytime you want, right? It just depends on how much energy you have to expend, how much delta V you can incur. If you could accelerate your craft in a straight line to Mars to the speed of light and then turn around and slow down before you got there, you could just basically no scope Mars and go there right now. It comes down to how much energy you can realistically carry with you, and then the rocket equation comes into play, and you start to have to deal with carrying the fuel that's going to be the fuel that
So,
carries the rest of the fuel. It's bad, right?
so
So
Jade Y in chat, as we're talking about this,
yeah,
asks, wasn't that the ITS intention? And I have the same exact question because I specifically remember that being part of like the very first ITS presentation, where like the answer to radiation and muscle loss or what have you, and all that was we'll just go really 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 fast because we can refuel and we'll have all the propellant we need and we'll have all that extra propellant and we can just go really fast. But it seems like they have not really been talking about that lately, and it's all the talk I've seen lately is of Mars transfer windows. But sorry,
well,
I just wanted to answer that.
no. The interesting thing about that is that if you carry more fuel with you, if you carry more delta V with you, you can either take more mass in the existing windows or you can take less mass in an expanded window, right?
Got it.
So you can expend even more delta V because you're carrying less mass, be that less cargo, human beings. You want to expedite the amount of time it takes you to get there. You can't get there instantaneously, right? Physics are still in play. Orbital mechanics hasn't changed. That's just the way that things work. But what you want to do is you want to carry as much fuel as you can get up into orbit and then balance that against what your dry mass is, what your payload and your structure of your rocket, the weight of the engine or the mass of the engines, all that sort of stuff. And it'll expand your windows because the windows come down to the ratio of the fuel, the energy you're carrying with you, and the amount of mass you're trying to push. So the ability to refuel in orbit definitely gives you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to the window. It decreases your transit time. Maybe it could address some things like if radiation is the big problem and you can cut your transit time in half or a third, certainly that seems better. Spend less time in the interplanetary radiation environment, right?
Yeah.
So it's a balance.
And I think what we've seen from SpaceX so far has been more on the lines of speeding up a journey within a transfer window. I don't remember seeing anything about them possibly going outside of a window. I think what Elon has said was that they thought they could maybe lower the trip time to about 3 months to reduce so instead of like building significant radiation protection within the vehicle, they just get you there quickly, so you're not exposed very long.
Got it.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I don't remember seeing a plan to ever like make journeys outside of transfer windows. I think
Got it.
Elon's been talking about having to stay there for a long period of time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks. And I don't know, I feel bad now because it looks like Nightbot muted and timed out Jade Y, but no, she's back. Okay, cool. Anyways,
It
that was a
happens
good question.
sometimes.
That was a really good
Um,
question, Carl.
yeah. Davis, thank you for the euro, and Rito, welcome to Capcom.
Wow.
Also,
Another
Awesome.
Capcom?
Yep. Also, Dan, a good question. What's the difference between Starship, Moonship versus Dragon XL? So
Dragon
the moon.
XL,
Go
go
ahead.
for it.
Go ahead, Jack.
I was just gonna say Dragon XL is an orbital craft. Moonship, Starship, whatever you want to call it, lands.
Yeah,
It's a
Dragon
lander.
XL is basically like a modified. It's like a cross between a modified cargo dragon and a Falcon 9 second stage, sort of. So it's a cargo vehicle, just like it's like a Falcon 9 second stage tank section converted into a dragon. That's sort of what it looks like. So it's very different from the Starship. It's far more dragon. It's very little Starship. Starship Moonship is basically a Starship, full-size Starship vehicle that has some minor modifications to be more built for a lunar landing. Like it doesn't have any aero surfaces because you don't need aero surfaces to land on the moon. But I don't think Moonship's actually an official term. That's just what people have been nicknaming it based on the renders that were posted. And again, if you have questions, just tag us in chat. We have a list that we are working our way through.
Yeah.
Luke,
Again, y'all, this is a super chill stream today. We're just hanging out. We're answering questions. We're waxing science fiction in terms of what may, or science faction at some point, in terms of what may happen with Mars and starships and human beings. And literally, we're just here hanging out with y'all. So we
are they lifting
appreciate
it
you.
right now?
I
can't tell if they're lifting it or not. Chat says they are.
I'm like squinting down to 2010 to see if the pixels are moving.
There is
Yeah, they're
that
lifting
guy.
it. Yeah, it looks like they are. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hallucinating, but it looks like they are.
That'd be a question for Mary if we still have our own comms, because she has both the binoculars and the cameras.
And
with
the ears, you
other
should probably hear the
lenses,
machine,
yeah.
the machinery straining.
It looks
Yeah.
like they have a guy wire coming down on the right-hand side here. I'm not seeing anybody like using it.
Correct.
Yeah, there was sort of a spotter over there near that forklift. I don't know if somebody's sitting in the forklift or not, but that I think it was like not a come along. What do we call those wires, Jack? Somebody told us.
Why guys?
Y guy.
Why?
Well,
No,
the
that
Y
was
guys
the
are
crane.
yeah, the back part of the crane is the Y
Talking
guy.
about the wire coming off the right side of Starship that
Oh.
the crews use to guide it.
Taglines?
Tagline sounds right. That
Is
sounds
that a
familiar.
thing? I mean, I would call it a guy wire, but I think those are actually secured. Like it's a guy wire is secured. A tagline is something you use to hold and load and move. But I don't know. Chat saying guide wires. We'll see what chat says. I'll probably get like 20 answers here shortly. I'm looking at the block at the top of the screen, seeing if the pixels between the block and the top of the screen shrink, or if I'm looking for any visual indicator I can tell that this thing is moving.
Yeah. And I'm gonna text to Mary as well. I know she's operating all those other cameras, making sure we don't miss anything.
Chat saying guideline.
Chat saying taglines is correct. But see, the people saying guidelines are spelling it wrong because it's GUYED. So I don't know if they know.
They know.
But I could be wrong because I didn't know you could deliver nitrogen in a truck that looked like that. So I'm
just
frequently
reading something you read on the internet. Like, really?
Yeah, I'm just frequently wrong. So, and then let's see. Luke like space asks, we've seen delivery of the thrust puck last week. Do you know where it was built and why not Boca? It does seem like they build a good number of things not in Boca, including the Raptor engine itself. I think those are built here in California at Hawthorne. So I don't know, but I think the thrust pucks are probably also built there, along with the downcomers and the fins. I mean, we've seen fins delivered, we've seen downcomers delivered, we've seen thrust pucks delivered. So it does seem like certain things they manufacture elsewhere, whether that's at Hawthorne or McGregor or whatnot. I suspect Hawthorne, but I don't know that.
Yeah, I think tagline is correct. I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, chat's going ham with the word taglines right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Thanks, chat.
Mary's checking in and saying she doesn't think that they're lifting it yet. It looks like they're having a meeting or something like that, discussing what their next steps are.
Yeah, so typically, and I've never done anything like this, but just from watching cranes lift stuff at Boca a whole bunch of times, typically I think they'll get everything hooked up and they'll have, I don't know if it's a safety meeting or just like a briefing of here's what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But just to make sure everybody's on the same page, because when you're doing a hazardous operation like this, you don't want you don't want any unknowns. You want to know exactly what to expect. You want every single person to know exactly what their role is, and yeah, because we don't want anybody to get hurt here.
Yep, absolutely. That's probably what we're doing. Jack and Michael, if y'all can take it away, I've got a thing I'm doing in the background here really quickly, so I'm going to be quiet for a minute. But
cool deal.
Keep getting some questions.
Thank you for the 5 Canadian. I think CHF. They say the problem is the distance between Earth and Mars. Outside the transfer window, the distance would be too big. Yeah, see, that makes sense. And then Acadia, thank you for the $2. They say, when can we expect a super heavy booster? I'm going to say we might see parts of it by the end of the year. I bet we see a full super heavy booster sometime early 2021. That's going to be my guess. What do you think, Michael?
I'm not sure we'll see one this year, but I mean, maybe like
parts, like
prototype.
even just parts this year.
Yeah, maybe a prototype, but I think probably late 2021 we'll see one with engines and whatnot.
All right. Anthony Dongs says, oh my God, my brain gave us $5, and thank you for the $5, dude. And they say, would SpaceX be able to send an unmanned Starship to Mars to test the landing? Yeah, totally. I think totally. In fact, I think they've even stated as much that's what they're going to do first. And then Joseph Brown, thanks for the $2. It says, will SpaceX use a Raptor on the Falcon rocket? I think we can pretty much for sure say no to that. They did get some money from the Air Force at one point to study a Raptor powered upper stage for Falcon 9, but I believe that was just a study and nothing ever came of it. They didn't get any more money from the Air Force to do it, and I don't think they're going to do it. Falcon 9, I don't want to talk smack about Falcon 9, but in some ways, Falcon 9 is basically a dead end at this point. It's done. It's been productized. They've been able to rapidly reuse them, and they're continuing to refine that reuse process. So that part isn't done, but in some ways, it doesn't make sense to put any more R&D into Falcon 9 because you can't reuse the second stage, and you just can't really make it fully reusable. That's why they're going all in on Starship. That's why they're just pouring gasoline on the Starship fire, is because that is the next step. There's no, Block 6 or whatever of Falcon 9. So,
yeah. Ethan asks, when do you think we'll see a Starship with fins and 3 engines? I think this will happen probably with like Starship SN8, maybe, because that's the one that's supposed to get aero surfaces, you believe. And I think the Starship that gets aero surfaces will also be the Starship that has to get 3 engines, because they have to go for a lot higher altitude in order for the fins to really be able to do any testing with. They have to have a high enough velocity that the fins actually affect the flight. So I think the one Starship that gets 3 engines will also be the Starship that gets aero surfaces, and most likely, if the current plans hold, SN8 seems to be the one that would fit that criteria.
Yep, I agree. Concur. Let's see. Alexander,
go ahead.
Go for it. Okay, I'm going to take it. Alexander says, or Alexandre, oh my God, sorry. They say, hey guys, since you have a name for the red, or you don't have a name for the red Manitowoc 14,000 crane yet, and the 18,000 was called Bluezilla, would Mothred be a suitable pseudonym for Bluezilla's rival? Well, we don't know that they're rivals, but we can pretend they're rivals, which is fun. I don't like Mothred that much. That's just me. Somebody the other day said Redran, or Redran or Redan, like Rodan. That one's pretty good. I don't know. We'll see what we ended up going with. But we got a guy running away. But
it looks like they're spreading out now.
Yep, could be getting ready to lift here. So yeah, that's we're still trying to come up with a good name for that one. But thank you for the suggestion. Mothred's pretty good. I deliberately, when I first saw that thing delivered, when I was editing the footage the other day, I messaged one of my friends, this guy named Max, who's super into Godzilla, like way into Godzilla films. And I was like, hey, I need a name. I need a kaiju name for another crane. We have a crane named after Godzilla. And so he suggested Red Jaguar, because I guess there's one called Jet Jaguar. And I don't know, Red Jaguar is pretty good, but I think it might be too obscure of a reference. And I don't like Redzilla. Sorry, Carl, 1948. Redzilla is just too easy. Red Kong, that might be good. Red Zuki, but Blue Zuki is already the littler blue one. I don't know. This is a very complicated, very important process. So we're gonna be working on that.
Hey Bester, thank you for 20 euros. Very generous. Do you think SpaceX is in a hurry to do a 20-kilometer test in light of the HLS development contract? And they say in February. That's because in February, NASA is expected to down select from 3 human landing systems to 2, or possibly even 1. So potentially some incentive there for SpaceX to show some progress with the Starship development before that down select happens. So yeah, I think that's certainly possible, and I think they would probably hope to do a 20-kilometer hop by next February. That might be, if Elon says he wants to do several small hops, that presumably would take maybe a couple of months to do, depending on how many Starships they use and how many hops they do. Then I think they'd probably go to 3 kilometers first. At least that's from the FCC filings. So getting to 20 kilometers by February might be slightly ambitious, but certainly within development possibility.
Can I make another wild prediction?
Yes.
Multiple hops in a day.
I mean, they have to do significant upgrades to the launch stand, but...
Yep, I'm just going to call that now, though. Multiple hops in a day. Just wait. Coming soon to a Starship pad near you. Says I. Let's see. Trying to get to 1K. Okay, yeah. They ask NASA spaceflight, how much taller will the rocket be when it goes to Mars compared to how big is it now?
So
This is what? This is 30 meters, and the full thing is what, like 200 something?
yeah, well, the full super heavy stack, but just the Starship portion. Um, this this current vehicle is only the tank section, which is we estimate is about maybe 30 meters, and the entire full scale Starship, which is the second stage of the entire rocket, would be about 50 meters, and then the entire super
Here we
heavy
go.
stack is 120 meters. So this is a very small portion of the entire thing.
Looks like we're about to start lifting. We got a guy pulling one of the guy wires, one of the tag lines, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Here we go. And that forklift is maybe going to be used. I wonder if they're going to use the forklift or something to push the
Those
pipe.
pipe stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you that's a good guess. Like, just a disclaimer, those pipe stands aren't very tall, and I've seen people in chat say that this crane is near its maximum extension, so don't expect SN5 to get lifted like way up above our heads or anything. It's only going to go up a couple inches, looks like, but still should be pretty cool. And then Nick, really quickly before I forget, Nick28 gave us $5 super chat. Thanks, Nick, and says, I told you all about it last time, and I've done it every time since. Each time they pull out the Y guy, I just got to send a dono. Y guy. That's, if you don't know what a Y guy is, we learned, thanks to Nick, that's those two arms kind of stick, the Trogdor arms sticking off the back of the crane there. Those are called Y guys. That's always fun. Thanks, Nick, and thanks for the knowledge. I always like learning stuff on these things. Joseph Brown, thank you for the $2. They
That-
say, I mean, what?
They're moving a pipe stand on the far right.
Oh, look at that.
That one guy that's like pulling it. It looks like he's struggling to move it, but he is moving it somewhat.
Yeah, I like that the forklift guy was just like, nah, I'm not going to help you. And just bailed. And I see so many people with crane name suggestions in chat. We've got like Red Kong, we've got Red Alert, Tyrannosaurus Red, Elmo, Clifford, Red Y'all, Red Ann, Red Lobster, Lil Red. I think we all agree that red needs to be in the name or some variant thereof. Kirk says, will the return of Go Navigator and Dragon Endeavor be covered by us as well? I think we were going to live stream that, but I don't know if we still are. I do know that Julia is going to be on scene with her camera, and I think we're going to try and cut together some sort of video from that. We'll see what we can put together, but I don't think we're bringing you live views. Is that correct, Michael?
I think it's still to be determined. The last I had checked.
Okay, well, we might be able to have.
Possibly not.
Okay, so stay tuned. That'll be a little tease there for the rest of the stream. Servas Distrooper says, what is the size of this water tank? Again, it's about 30 meters. And then the Camel. What's up, Camel? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. One of our illustrious high dollar super chatters. I will not forget that name. They ask Mary, if you can hear us, they ask, what's the temperature out right now? Hope you are keeping cool.
Like, Mary might be away from the camera right now while she operates a different camera, but I'm looking at the weather right now. I don't think there is actually a weather station exactly in Boca Chica, so you have to like go to one of the nearby cities, but I'm seeing around 94 degrees, and the heat index is, I don't have the heat index right now, but I'm guessing it's probably well over 100. So thank you to Mary for being out there right now to give us this view, because it is hot.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and there are weather stations in Boca Chica, but they're SpaceX weather stations.
Yeah, they're not like the ones you can get online.
Yeah. Matthew
index-
Bun.
Heat index quickly is 105 degrees in Brownsville. So, wow.
It's much hotter there, I bet. Matthew Bundas says, "You were the bomb. I didn't know it was even possible to have access like this to Starship until I saw the channel." Yep. Well, all it takes is insane dedication and just perseverance and putting up against crazy heat and being out there at all hours, and you will be able to catch some insane stuff like Mary does. Thing is nobody does that except for Mary, because it's not easy, and that's why we always say thank you, Mary.
And also,
And then
we saw that guy running. I can't imagine bringing his crew out there in that heat.
they're always wearing long sleeves and jeans, and it's just like they're not like in flip flops and shorts. You know what I mean? Like it's not messing around out there. They're working and they're in work clothes. I imagine they're in steel toed boots even. Like
Yeah.
it's probably, you get home at the end of the day after a day working on site here and you are wiped out. And they might hear that and laugh and be like, "I'm not wiped out. It's my job every day." Or maybe they are. I don't know.
All right, y'all. I've made it back over here. I have done my other work, and I came back to hang out with y'all some more. So I'm back.
You abandon us, abandoner. How dare you?
Everyone has to behave again.
Jack was making fun of bluebirds while you were gone.
What, making fun of bluebirds? That's just rude,
Bluebirds
Jack.
are so dumb. I don't even like birds. They're definitely not cute and don't make me happy every time I see them.
You know I can kick you out of the server, right? So no one will ever be able to hear you again. You'll have to start making videos, I guess. We'll have like a war, the live streams versus the videos.
There you go.
Jack
all the labels in the videos will suddenly start talking smack about the live streams.
and then the live streams will talk smack about the labels on the videos every day.
There you go.
Oh no, let's just be friends. That's a much better way to go through life. We can't be all angry all the time.
Nope. Although we could do a little bit of like a Howard Stern, like, people love a feud.
A feud. Oh no. Hey, there's a couple of super chats that came in while I was gone, so I'll get us catch up. Loto, something easy. I don't know what Loto is. Mosfa says something more easy. Appreciate the super chat there. Thank you very much. Joseph Brown, thank you so much as well. Talking about test use for flights to test Raptor. Oh, Joseph was probably talking about, will they use Raptor on Falcon? And I wonder if they would send a Raptor engine to space on a Falcon 9 for testing purposes. I think the answer probably stays the same there, right, Jack? Y'all were talking about that a bit ago, right?
Yeah, I think the answer probably stays the same. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Maybe they would have a Raptor and a weird dummy fuel tank under in a Falcon 9 fairing and pop the fairing off. And yeah, I know that's so insane. No, they just wouldn't do it. No.
Again, it's a
sorry.
very Kerbal Space Program way. It's like haul the T-150, 145 to orbit and then run the test. Right click and run test. Like, wait,
test
what?
it between 100,000 and 120,000 feet at a certain speed, at a certain inclination. Yeah, exactly.
Suborbital. Yeah, exactly right.
It said well landed. I swear I was landed, but I was still moving a little bit because it was a slope.
The worst is when you build the rocket and it's like, oh, between 52 and 58,000, and you launch it and it's like 51,500. Really? Come on. Can it be that different? Just 500 meters lower? Anyways, we appreciate you there. Here is another one. Jared Hebert. Do you think they'll use the same test prosecutor as Starship for Super Heavy? So I don't grok test prosecutor. What do y'all think that question is referring to there? Test procedure, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, will they hop a Super Heavy?
Yeah, they'll probably. I don't know. That's a good question, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to static. It might be hard on the pad to static fire that many engines for a long period of time, at least. So.
Yeah. I don't know. At least
interesting.
Without a lot of pad infrastructure upgrades, right?
Yeah.
I wonder. At the point that they're ready to fly a Super Heavy, I wonder if they will just have enough data from flying Starship that they don't need to do a hop. But I mean, 31 engines is a
thing lifted.
Oh,
it's rocking back and forth.
It's rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It just had a pretty big swing. That's how I noticed it. Now it's steadied itself a bit, but you can see it moving.
Oh
We-
yeah, look at that. Look at it go.
Do we cheer? I don't. What are we supposed to do? Like,
Woo! Yeah, I want to like clap or something. I don't know. Like, good
What-
job, SN5. I don't know.
it's like SN5 lifts off again.
Look at the landing legs. You can see them moving. They're just off the
Oh,
ground right
yeah.
now.
Oh, nice.
I guarantee you that Mary is recording some zoomed in video of what they're doing, and the daily video update later this evening will definitely show that. I'm not going to ask her to change anything right now, you know? So she is crewing those other cameras to get all sorts of different video we can use in the daily update. So stay tuned for the daily update when we have all that zoomed in. It's what did we call it earlier? Like the cable assisted takeoff or something? What is it? We had a joke last time. Oh, I can't remember what it was. Was it for a booster return stream at the port or something? No, the moment's passed. Whatever, it's fine. Somebody in chat will remember.
Sorry, I stepped away for a second. It's a crane. It was crane assisted takeoff, and it was when SN5 got brought to the launch pad when they were
Crane
moving it from
assisted
the.
takeoff. A Kato.
But yeah, but isn't a Kato a thing in model rocketry where like the casing of the engine explodes or something like that? I just recently encountered that term, but I'm not positive. We might have repurposed a term that already existed it existed in rocketry.
So you can see they're all sort of spotting it. They're looking at different sides. I mean, it's
Yep.
it's significantly up in the air now. It almost looks like it's above
Yeah.
shoulder height.
Yep.
It was
Look at
the
that guy
bottom
pushing
of
it.
the skirt. Yeah.
Just casually pushing it.
He's leaning on it. On the lower right hand side there, they're literally leaning on it, like pushing it to the side, leaning on it.
Let's see if they slide. There's pipes in place now.
Matt
Type
Sturm in
stands.
chat, or Matt Stum in chat says Kato is short for catastrophic failure of engine
I don't.
or catastrophe at takeoff.
Yeah,
Kato.
catastrophe at takeoff is Kato in like high-powered rocketry. We hear that
Yes.
a lot out at the Spaceport America Cup. I've been out there a few times, and Kato is not a good thing for them. That's right.
Catastrophe at takeoff.
Yeah,
Oh,
catastrophe
that's
at
good.
takeoff.
That's like red.
That's like your motor pukes its plug up the core of the rocket, and the whole thing just goes on the launch pad. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a no bueno. Oh, look, they have one of the pipe stands on the forklift. You see that?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yep. Forklift guy doing their part. Matt Well asking what the building to the left of the crane is. I think that's just a bunch of shipping containers. It's not actually a building.
Yeah, there are the shipping containers in the background on the far side of the pad there. Also, what
Yep.
looks to be water pipes. Those green pipes look like they're water pipes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
might
definitely
be.
look like irrigation piping.
Maybe
Yeah.
like super heavy pad infrastructure or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Stepping
right.
away for a second. I'll be right back.
All right, copy, Jack. Thank you.
Mike, thank you for the membership.
There you go.
Where is the roll lift? I think the roll lift is at the launch site right now, if I'm not mistaken, probably off camera. We
Yeah.
can check in with that on Mary later, but they did use the roll lift to bring the larger stand. And it looks like they're not going to be putting SN5 onto the larger stand today, but there is a larger stand out there potentially for SN5 that they rolled in right after the hop on the roll lift. So
Gotcha.
I don't think the roll lift's going to be needed today because they're just jacking the Starship SN5 vehicle onto those pipe stands right now, or lifting the SN5 vehicle onto the pipe stands. They're not actually moving it right now. But it looks like they have one pipe stand in place now, at least. Still see one definitely not in place on the far right of SN5.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to take their time moving those things around.
Here comes the forklift to pick that one up, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still away, but do you think they'll retract the legs while they have it lifted up?
I don't know. I mean,
Either
how much
retract
do
or
those...
remove them. The question is which one.
I wonder what mechanism they would use to bring them back up again. Like you'd have to have something to actually fold them all the way back up. And that might be difficult, sort of having to go up underneath the skirt or something. I'm not exactly sure how that process would work. I could think of some ways. There goes another pipe stand down on the bottom. I'm checking in with Mary over here on my side.
Again, if you have questions, just tag at NASASpaceflight in chat, and we will continue to answer questions while we watch what's happening. But it looks like they're putting that pipe stand sort of close to that other one. That's interesting. Benjamin asks, do you think they will remove Raptor before moving Starship SN5? That is an interesting question. I don't think if they plan to fly again with this same Raptor, I'm not sure they will have to remove it, but if they plan to fly it again with a different Raptor, maybe because this Raptor got damaged, we did see there was a fire in a place that shouldn't have been on fire during the hop. So perhaps they will use a different Raptor for the next hop. So very possible that they would move the Raptor at some point, but they would have to get it up a lot higher than this to get the Raptor out, I think. The current Raptor stand they use when installing Raptor is quite high, so they're going to have Starship on a higher stand, I think, to be able to remove the Raptor if they have to do that at some point. Shane asks, do we know what exploded on the pad during takeoff? I think that was just some ground support umbilicals probably got blasted by Raptor, and then some propellant in them probably got ignited, but I'm not sure. That is a guess.
Yeah. There's another question over here. Do we think that SN5 bent the landing legs the other day? And I don't know that bent is the right terminology. I guess our sort of educated guess is that the legs were designed to compress, much like the Falcon 9 legs have those crush cores in them to absorb any excess force at landing up to a certain amount. These probably have some sort of slide brakes or crush cores or something along the same sort of lines, maybe a friction fitting in there that allows them to move a little bit and absorb and also level out the landing. So again, we don't have any official word from SpaceX or a tweet from Elon saying exactly how that would work, but the way that these things work is very likely that they're going to have to be leveled out. So I do believe they have some way to level them out. I don't know that bent would be the right terminology though.
I think John's asking about the legs. John says, is SpaceX still going to do a version 2.0 as version 1 looks too small? Yes, Elon recently tweeted about that, in fact. He said that version 1.1, so that's presumably the next set of the next upcoming leg design, would be 60% larger, and version 2 would be similar to a Falcon 9 landing leg, but it would also have auto stabilization capabilities. So presumably, if Starship landed at a slight tilt, the legs would automatically correct that tilt upon landing in the version 2 design. So that would be really cool and something that would be super useful for landing on something like the moon or Mars.
Yep. And I was typing a backroom message here, just checking in with Mary, seeing how she was.
More super chats. Ron Smith, thank you for $5. Will SpaceX hover test Starship SN5 in Earth's upper atmosphere to test a Mars landing? So I guess since Mars has lower atmospheric density than Earth, you would try to have a artificial landing point higher in Earth's atmosphere to simulate the Mars landing conditions, if I'm understanding that question correctly. I don't know.
Interesting,
That's an
like
question.
a point in the Earth's atmosphere where the density may be similar to the Martian atmosphere, and then check the operation of the engines at that atmospheric density. Is that what we mean?
Yeah, maybe like the aero surfaces. I'm not sure, but
Yeah. Oh, or the aero surfaces. That makes sense as well,
yeah.
because you could get up to a level where you get the same amount of aerodynamic control based on the density, just the mass of the atmosphere that you can get on those surfaces. I had sent a message back to Mary to see if she couldn't zoom us in on the base operations a little bit, and she's going to give that a try here. Go ahead. There we go. And see if we can get a little bit more context on what they're doing. I know we don't want to miss out what's happening up at the top, but I'm really curious exactly what's going on down at the bottom. So we may get a little bit of a camera shake here. And Mary's going to try the zoom in on the camera. Oh, wow. That camera actually zooms more than I thought it did.
Look at that.
What? Wait. What camera is this?
This is excellent.
Is
This
this
is really an excellent view.
Is this the new one? Move along. Truck, keep rolling. Keep on going. Oh, look at that. And Mary's even leveling it out. I love that geared tripod head. The geared tripod head. We need to mark the labels, but look at that.
So you can see one. Are those like two separate pipes that they have at each location, or it looks like there's maybe like two pipe stands per, like there's pairs of pipe stands basically is what I'm trying to say. If I'm saying that right.
Yeah. We need to we need to see if we can't get the lift out of the way. Like move that out of the way there.
Look at that landing leg on the
Yeah.
far right.
Wow. Are there 4? I guess I see 4 total of the stands there. That's that's amazing. You can even see the rolls of stuff on the ground. The safety.
This is such a cool
Yeah.
shot to give you context for what a freaking massive vehicle this is.
Am I
There's-
crazy
there's-
or did it?
There's
did
what,
it-
10 people standing around the base of this thing, and they're all dwarfed by it. Even the crowd of them, and even the boom lift is dwarfed by it.
Yeah. Look at the. Am I crazy or did the camera focus through the chain link fence? Is there just not
It
chain
did.
link there anymore?
There's no length there.
What? But.
Yeah.
But. Anyways.
Hopefully they don't put up a newer, bigger fence there in its place. Hopefully they just put the chain link back.
But. Hang on. I'm gonna go to YouTube. Y'all talk. I'm gonna go to YouTube real quick.
We broke DOS.
I just back it up.
But
Okay, so that chain link fence doesn't actually have chain link in it right now. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I thought it was the camera trick where you can focus on an object that's far past the fence and you can make the fence disappear because it looks so weird. Sorry, I didn't believe my eyes, and it was good for me not to believe my eyes because they were lying to me.
That was quite amusing. No complaints. Mary in our chat says Raptor blew out the fence right there.
No kidding. When it landed, just the force of the exhaust hitting the concrete pad, it going sideways, blew out that chain link fence.
Yeah, the framing of the fence is still there, to be clear, but the chain link itself is not.
Wait a second. So if that's legit, I grew up in South Texas, right? I grew up in Corpus Christi, just a little ways up from Boca Chica down here. And one of the ways we refer to that chain link fences is a hurricane fence, right? So you get high winds from a hurricane and your fence doesn't get blown down because the wind goes through the chain link. The wind isn't like a big flat plank or wood that's going to catch the wind. It allows the wind to blow through. So we refer to these sometimes as hurricane fences. And the fact that the landing Raptor had so much
look
force,
look at the right side. The guy handling that leg. It looks like he might be about to fold it. He might be about to fold that leg up or something. He's manipulating it in some way. He looks like he might be releasing a latch. Look at that. Right. That is so cool.
Sorry, gah.
No, so I interrupted you. I know, but
no.
Also,
that's important.
I've never once ever heard them called hurricane fences, and I grew up in Florida, so you might be crazy.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe my dad just called them hurricane fences. You know how it goes.
It sounds like a dad thing to call something for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. If they just something, look at the bottom of the landing nub. It almost looks like you can see a slidey bit. Yeah, that's a technical term. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it does. It looks like it's a 2-piece assembly, and inside the larger piece would be the crush core. That's exactly what it looks like, and you can almost
Yeah.
even judge how much each leg is crushed by how that smaller telescoping bit. There's like holes
Fits
in the
up
side
in.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can be like, oh, this one's crushed to 2 holes. Oh, this one's not crushed any holes. It's like, oh,
Yep.
well, thank you, SpaceX, for labeling labeling your robots and putting obvious markers on things. It's quite nice for us roadside rocket scientists
Roadside.
/
Yeah.
Texas tank watchers, whatever you want to call it.
We're like roadside crane operators right now, or I don't know. This is just Jack. This is like one of the daily videos, but it's live. Like this is what's happening with SN5 at Boca Chica, literally right now. Hang on, let me look at the latency off the camera. Go ahead.
Part of the problem with the daily videos is I frequently want to let a clip play for its entire duration without doing any sort of editing or cutting anything out or fast forwarding any part of it, because they're so cool. But I know that we can't have each daily update video be like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So, editing has to occur. But this stream is super nice for that exact reason, is we can actually sit down and watch. And, a lot of times the fast forwarding and stuff can sort of minimize, not, obviously that's not what we want to be the intention. And sometimes it helps maximize the apparent amount of work. But sometimes it's like, oh yeah, and then they lifted this thing up and it went and it got put there. And it's like, yeah, but it took a long time. It took almost all day. It was a whole bunch of people all day trying to get that done to get it done. So this is a nifty view. I was gonna say something and I completely spaced out. Oh well.
Well, I was gonna say again, thanks to Mary for dragging the gear out there and setting up the live stream.
Oh yeah, good call. For real. Thank you, Mary. And as you're baking in the heat out there, I think we calculated earlier the feels like temperature is 107. So thank you for this.
This is a fantastic spot to live stream from. All the modems are ticking along, happy. I'm not trying to jinx it, but we've got good signal on everything. I mean, it's so close. This is about as close as you get. And Mary's there to actually tell us what's going on,
Yeah, and correct me whenever I say anything that's just wildly incorrect, which is really nice because I don't want to be incorrect. And
well, the gap is gone now between. I don't see any air between SN5 and the
stands.
Yeah,
like
look at that guy on the right shaking it. The guy on the right in that beige shirt was just shaking it. Like
he's like, "Is it stable?"
Yeah.
It looks like the lift is complete. They're walking away.
That is what that looks like. And wow, there's 7,000 people watching right now, watching this thing get lifted up and set down on these stands. If you're joining us just now and curious what's going on, we're kind of just having a chill stream today. We're hanging out and we're watching SN5 get worked on because Mary has such crazy, insane views right now. We figured, why not? I mean, come on. We're not sure quite what they're going to do next, but presumably they'll get up under there and start doing some work. Maybe they'll check out Raptor. But this is good, old-fashioned, no holds bar Texas tank watching.
Watching.
Well, we can use that opportunity to plug our Texas tank watching shirt if you guys want. But we managed to pull together, and Mark, and the guy that runs our store, put together a Texas tank watcher shirt. And if you feel so inclined, we have also got a Texas tank watcher hat.
Oh, oops, that's still the hat. Sorry. I was trying to bring up the shirt, but it was still on the hat.
You're good. We also got a hoodie too.
You're plugging more products than we intended. Oh no,
it was an accident. I apologize.
Sure. Oops, I didn't mean to. So yeah, it's we got a hoodie, we got a hat, and we got a shirt. We got the whole 9 yards. And I'm petitioning for a mouse pad. We'll see if we can get a mouse pad done. I have an old ratty mouse pad, and I would really like to look down and see a Texas Tank Watchers mouse pad on my desk. So yeah, if you guys are feeling so inclined, pop on over to our store. We've got a bunch of other stuff too. We've got some Endeavor themed merch, and we've got all kinds of things, including Texas Tank Watchers.
Watchers.
Who doesn't love that vaporwave grid? I mean, come on.
I still need like a horse whinny sound effect. It's like
yeah. We need a whip crack and a horse whinny. That would be amazing.
Whip crack and a horse whinny every time we say.
And then a vent sound like a and then a yeah, exactly.
It's like Dingo and the Baby in the mornings. Like, wait, what?
Dingo and the Baby.
Okay, so we do the Texas Tank Watcher stuff, but the paintings of the sunrises, we need to get more paintings of the sunrises in the store. I can't do this one justice with the little picture-in-picture thing, but Mary captures so many amazing...
Print, not paint, though, right?
Yeah, sorry, it's a print. Thank you, sorry. It's like wall art. There is a difference between a painting. Mary's not like individually painting these sunrises based on a photo or anything. It's a print of the photo from one of the sunrises in the morning. So, anyways, let's get back to some tank watching. Can't do a very good horse whinny. I tried.
I'm going to cut that exact soundbite out of this live stream, and that is what we will use because that was perfect.
I'm going to delete this live stream. Is what I'm going to do. Immediately this is the last chance you have to see this, y'all, because no sound clips of the DOS whinny there.
So what do we think they're doing now? We think they are getting everything, just securing everything, making sure they're happy with how it's placed.
Checking it out. The crane probably still has a little bit of load on it, a little bit of tension on it, and they're making sure that everything's in position, nothing's slipping off or anything like that. They're inspecting all the different sides while not getting under the load. They're just making sure everything's good before that crane comes off, you know?
Makes sense, yeah.
Now I feel like I need to try the whinny again to do a better job of it, but I think it's too late.
No, it's the time has passed, man.
It's like I want to edit the live stream. Like there's no edits on the live stream. It's just once it's gone out to the internet, it's gone out to the internet. Well, a couple people asking to get back on topic here. A couple people asking.
No,
keep going.
No,
keep
get
going.
out of it. Keep going. Keep going, buddy. Keep going, buddy. No, there's another one.
Oh, no.
No.
Are they just coming over to look?
It looks like they're coming over to work.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Just
Hang on. We might be okay. We might be okay. Guy's coming over. He's like, hey, don't park there. Park over here.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, hang on just a second. No, come on. No, don't put your hard hat on. No, buddy. No, come on.
No, but
Come
Jack,
on,
I would honestly tell you, if there's something going on that they don't want video of, if they asked, we would absolutely move it away. We would absolutely turn the stream off. That's not even a question, you know.
Oh, of course, yeah.
If it was an intentional
thing,
yeah. If it was an intentional thing where they wanted to block what was going on, all they have to do is ask. We're not there to try and spy on anything. We're sharing what's going on. There's 7,000 people interested in it, but honestly, one word, one request, and we would make sure that they were doing things safe and that sort of stuff, you know.
Yep, 100%.
I think they probably just park there, and they have every right to do that because that is SpaceX's launch site. They are not trying to intentionally make this something that we can see.
Yeah,
so they
but
can park wherever they want.
From our perspective, if they did want us to move the camera away or something, they
100%.
came over and asked us, we would absolutely say, hey, you know something. In fact, you know, out of good faith, I think we ask what?
They're not shy about doing that either. I mean, this like we were talking about, I think yesterday, if you go across the road and try to approach the fence line, they will stop you. They will come up to you and say, other side of the road. So if you are doing something they don't want you to be doing, trust me, they will let you know.
Yeah. And so something out of 100% good faith, I think we asked Mary to zoom the camera back to the wide shot just in case that was something they weren't comfortable with. I'm going to send a message real quick, okay? I'll just pop something in the back channel over here.
Sounds good.
I mean, again, y'all, we're not here to scream, oh no, we're in a public road, we can see whatever we want. That's not how this is. We always want to respect the safety of the workers. We always want to respect SpaceX. This isn't a gotcha on tape sort of thing. That's a good way to ruin it for everyone. So that's why we take this really seriously.
Mary is SpaceX's neighbor in the same way that SpaceX is Mary's neighbor. And I mean, if you have neighbors, I think you want to have good neighbors. So it's just about being a good neighbor.
Yeah. So I got that message over to Mary. Again, y'all, I cannot say it enough. This is not a, oh yeah, well, now we'll move so we can get a better shot. We need to see what they're doing. We have a right. That's not how this is ever. And we always want to make sure that we're respectful of the access that we have here out at Boca Chica. So that is like a good neighbor. Mary is there. Nice.
A couple of new memberships. Thank you, Natalie, Michael, and Kyle. We appreciate it. And also super chats. Heather, $5. We appreciate it, Heather. And David, $5. Where do you think they will land when they start doing higher hops? 3 kilometers, 20 kilometers, etc. I think probably at the same landing zone. I don't know what Jack or Doss thinks.
I think they're probably gonna go back to the same landing zone there. I mean, we haven't
Yeah.
seen anything else like further away or anything like that. Michael, I am gonna ask really quickly, can you remove the lower third? Just take us to the watermark only, because I gotta get a screenshot. This is a heck of a Ram truck commercial.
Oh yeah, good call. Built Ram tough.
Built
wait, no,
Ram
that's Ford.
tough.
Oh
Yeah.
gee, oh I blew it.
Carrying it. No, wait a second. You said built Ram tough. That's built Ford tough.
Yeah, I
And
blew
now
it.
I just want to say like a Ram neighbor, State Ram is there, but that's not right either.
Like a farm tough, it's State Ram saves you 15% on your
more on
Starship
Starship
insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know.
You can really see that extra concrete they have where Starship lands.
Yep.
That extra, the truck's already parked on concrete, and then above that they have an extra thick slab.
Yeah, and
But
here we
looks
go.
like-
It looks like
Here we go. Yeah.
yeah.
Mary has begun the
Oh, or
moving
even
out.
tighter. There you go. Ah, yes. Yeah, there we. I mean, just zooming it out like that. That that little camera had a lot more reach than I thought it did. But we'll go out back nice and wide there so we can get the full context of what's going on. That actually looks really good too. Ah, yes. Alrighty.
That might be time to start cooling this down. I'm not sure what Mary's status is, but if Mary is done filming for the daily video, it is very hot out there. So
Yeah, it is.
definitely,
What was the heat index again?
I think 105, 107. So
Gotcha.
very hot.
Michael, could you remove the lower third one more time, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
Josh is
I
having
don't.
very.
I
Oh.
don't know if you could see it, but they actually retracted the legs.
They did?
Yeah, they did. I think that's why they moved the pickups to block view. But yeah, they
Ah.
actually did.
Gotcha. So you
Yeah.
could see that they were retracting the legs?
Yeah, they were. I could see it.
Aha.
They hadn't totally blocked my view at that point, but that's what they were doing, and that's why they parked. They've got pickups parked all around, the viewing area here.
All around the outside. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
fair
block our
enough.
view.
And
Yeah.
Mary, I don't know if you could hear what we were saying there, but we were saying about how we want to respect not only the privacy of the workers, but if they do something where they're trying to block it, we're not, oh, put the camera on a pole and let's look at it. We always are respectful of what they do out there. You do such a good job with that.
Right.
So,
Yep.
all right. Well, good deal. Thanks for the information there, Mary, and thank you also when we asked for pulling it out. We're joking about this. Looks like quite a Ram truck commercial right now. It looks like Starship's in the bed of that Ram.
I keep trying to remember what is the Ram truck commercial like? What is their is it the Like a Rock one, or is it the?
It's for only $50,000. You can protect the cameras from seeing your leg retractions.
That's an expensive wall.
Yeah, maybe about 50. Maybe you're right for that truck. I don't know.
Maybe 30. I have no idea how much that costs.
Yeah, Like a Rock is Chevy. Built Ram Tough. No, it's built Ford Tough. Is it just Ram Tough?
I like built Ram Tough though, just because it's the wrong thing. It's like if your dad was be singing like a song that you know the lyrics to, and he deliberately botches them just to annoy you. It's a total dad thing. Built Ram Tough.
Mary, if you can still hear us, is that white truck a dually? Can you tell?
Yeah, it looks like a dually.
Yeah. She might have gone back to the other camera. She muted her mic there. It looks like a dually to me. It's got the flares on the side. It's like a long bed dually. So
A little bit of glitching. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it happens. Probably just the
Today on
modem
Texas
hiccupping for a
Truck
second.
Watchers.
Texas Truck Watchers.
Well, there's a black one and a white one and a brown one and a yellow one and a dually. That one's rolling coal.
It's like rolling coal is diametrically opposed to any vehicle that Elon is involved with. We've got the methane and the oxygen on the Raptor here. Then we have all the electric vehicles with Tesla, of course.
Yeah, it's like the polar opposite of
Yeah.
cleanliness. It's just as dirty as physically possible. It's so awful. I can't believe people do that.
Oh, jeez.
People just keep saying "built ram tough" in chat.
It's built ram tough.
I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. Man, I'm excited for them to get some Cybertrucks on scene, especially if they're made out of Starship steel. I mean,
Yeah.
I still remain skeptical that that'll actually be a thing because Elon tweeting something does not reality make. But yeah, even just regular Cybertrucks on scene at this site, it's going to go from looking like something out of the 2000s or the 90s to something like straight out of like the 2100s or something. It's just going to be awesome. It'll look so futury. A lot of people saying Guts Glory Ram is the 2010 to present.
That seems like a thing.
I'm just gonna reach out to Dodge's marketing department and give them a pro tip. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible tagline, and I hope I'm not making an enemy out of all the Dodge/Ram fans. But I mean, built Ford tough. That's just, it feels good to say.
This is not an endorsement.
I don't like Ford cars. I'll say that right now. This is not an endorsement, not an ad, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's just not. Guts Glory Ram is like eat, live, pray, or like it's just like one of those banal like statements you see in a
laugh,
like
live,
go into
love.
Yeah, exactly. Like you go in like a dentist office and you just like see it on the wall of the dentist office. Like you're in Ross or something to buy a pair of cheap shoes, and it's like some of like the stock art that's like sitting on the wall that you could buy for no reason. It's like, yeah, why would you? It's just not. Come on, Built Ram Tough is way better. You can have that one for free, Dodge.
I did I just tagged them in a tweet, Jack. I tweeted out, apparently they've used a crane to lift up SN5 and place it in the bed of this Dodge Ram pickup truck. I tagged them, so.
That's hilarious. Nice. I was wondering what you were going to do with that.
Yeah. That's why I was asking for the lower third, so I could get that. But how are we looking here? I mean, we know we've been live for, survey says, an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half, watching the operations. We've seen a successful lift of SN5, that crane there, attaching the load. What do we call them, Jack? I say load spreader, but do we have an official term for that hexa thing at the top?
I don't know if we do or not. I was calling it a lifting bridle the other day. I'm just making words up at this point. So whatever you want to call it, load spreader sounds good to me.
Yeah, load spreader or something like that. We've seen them hook that up. We saw them lift SN5 for its second flight. It's crane-assisted takeoff there. Looks like they put those big, what do we call them, pipe stands underneath. And then reports from Mary that they actually may have been retracting some of those landing nubs. I'm still not going to call them a landing leg. It's a landing nub. They're so tiny.
There you go.
They're so cute. But we may be coming up on the point here where we shut down the stream. Let's go ahead and talk over here and just make sure. That's the plan. We don't want Mary to be out there. I'm sure she's captured everything she needs for that daily video. Go ahead.
Oh, Dougal in chat is saying it's called a picker-upper, which I think is definitely, yeah, it's definitely a technical term. Oh, and Armin24 says it's a crane hexagon, also a technical term. I don't know. That's some pretty like obscure jargon. I don't know if we can use that on the stream or not, but yeah, maybe picker-upper, maybe crane hexagon. Those are both pretty good. Maybe let's see. Anyone else have a suggestion? I'm waiting. Nope, no one else has a funny suggestion. The end. Joke over. And done.
And done. All right.
That's how comedy works, right?
And I'm just confirming. We'll talk with Mary over here. I do think apparently I tagged the wrong company. It's not Dodge. It's Ram Trucks. They have a sub account for the specific Ram trucks. I didn't know that. I drive a Ford. All right, sorry.
Oh, geez.
Or a Toyota Camry, but I'm in the city now. It doesn't make sense. I'm not working on a farm anymore. So, anyways, whatever. But yeah, I think y'all, it probably is time for us to shut this down. Ace is down over here in chat, tossing in some for the Merry Hydration Fund. Thank you, Ace is down. Also saying thanks for the coverage. We appreciate the support there, Ace is down. Thank you. Lord Coin as well. Do we think the UK will ever launch their own rocket? Just throw it back to Black Arrow. I mean, they have launched a rocket before, and it looked like a bullet actually out there. But do they have any plans to launch anything recently? Not that I've heard of. Anybody else? Small sat wise, even?
Where was that launch site in northern Scotland? I think.
Yeah.
That's not. I think there's gonna be like a European rocket or something launching from that. Yes, Sutherland is what
Sutherland.
Chris B says in our back channel. No UK rocket. So there you go.
Oops.
UK launch
was in the
site,
wrong
but not
channel
a UK rocket.
Yeah. All right. And then lastly here, Sam Halter says, thanks to all of you for the live feed and especially for last night's launch coverage. Absolutely, Sam. This was a good time here. It was just, we saw some interesting things going on. We normally get those videos out. And Mary actually asked, like, should we live stream this? It looks like they're going to lift it. And we said, hey, you know something? If there's something cool to share with people, if we think people would be interested in this, we know there's an awful lot of Starship fans. We know there's an awful lot of Boca Chica fans. And we also know there's a lot of Mary fans out there. So we said we would spool up our support and get a live stream going. And I think it was a really cool thing to share. What do y'all think, chat? Like, is this the sort of thing? Do y'all want to see more things like this? We're not going to do it every day. The videos are there, the great sort of tidbits where you can watch a 10, 11, 12-minute video and get an update of what happened over the day from sunrise to sunset. But if these interesting events are the sort of things that maybe we want to do, it all comes down to what y'all think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, smash the like button if you enjoyed this. There's 5,000 of you watching right now, but only 1,000 likes. So
there you go.
If you liked it, hit the like button and we'll know. That's one way to tell us anyways.
And I stand corrected. There are UK rockets. Chris B said no UK rocket, like no comma UK rocket. So I read that incorrectly. Yes, there are UK rockets. But there's like 135 small sat vehicles in development or something like that. So it's likely that only a couple of them out of the 135 are going to survive. So, in my opinion, the odds of seeing a UK rocket are still not, super high, but definitely possible because there are some under development.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping for Skylon to be a thing because Skylon is so darn cool. Who doesn't like SSTO? Get out of here, people who say it's not a good idea. Get out. Just get out, okay? Get out of my sci-fi future. I don't want you there.
Oh, alrighty, y'all. Well, let's get Mary back into the air conditioning down there in South Texas. You can pack up all that gear. We'll bring the camera offline. One more time, thank y'all so much for joining us here. Again, just a sort of chill stream, not a bunch of heart-wrenching tension. Are they going to do the static fire? Are they going to do the hop? Just hanging out, watching what's happening down there in Boca Chica while we answer some questions and help people continue to appreciate what SpaceX is doing down there. So again, we're the NASA Spaceflight team. I'm John Galloway, one of the hosts here. You've also heard the voice of Jack Beyer, who will say something so you know which voice this is. Go ahead.
Something so you know which voice is mine. No, seriously, thank you everybody for tuning in. Dad jokes aside.
I set myself up for that one.
You did. You always do too, and I will grab that low-hanging fruit like a hungry little chimp.
It's like T-ball, Jack. I put it on the tee for you, and I just let you knock it out of the park, man.
Thank you for that. So yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody, today. We were glad you enjoyed the stream, and thanks again to Mary for bringing it to us. And if you feel like looking at my cool photos of rockets and planes, there's my Instagram. I just threw a link in chat.
Ah, nice. Then actually we've got Michael Baylor with us. Michael, let them know the sound of your voice there, since we're all talking voices today.
Hi everyone. Hope you enjoyed the stream.
Whoa!
Elon just tweeted something.
What did he just tweet?
In response to a Chris B tweet of our stream, he said it will look crazy tall with booster and fairing, 122 meters, 394 feet. I just wanted to throw that in there. Sorry.
That was in response to a clip of Mary's live stream, which you're watching right now, of our close-up shot. So there you go.
Excellent. Here, I'll bring it up on the stream. Apparently, we got a little bit of information. It's crazy tall with booster and fairing, 122 meters. He says, let me see, do I still have that?
Yeah, a
That's-
400-foot tall rocket. That's like, I mean, I'm so excited to see a full stack of this vehicle finally put together, and I'm really curious if we'll see like a Saturn V style full up test when it's, you know, when they finally stack a complete one. Will that just be like a full up? You know, at that point they'll have a whole bunch of hops under their belt, and they'll have reasonable confidence in Raptor, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So yeah, I wonder. Maybe I'll make my third wild prediction of the stream in that the first flight of a full stack Starship Super Heavy will be just like a full up orbital full on test of I don't know, like maybe a Starlink launch or something. That one kind of that prediction kind of petered out, but you get my vibe.
the height of the full stack has changed. Per that Elon tweet, it's now 2 meters taller. It was
actually-
100. It was 120 meters according to the SpaceX website, and the most recent presentation they did, which was almost a year ago now, in Boca Chica. But now Elon's tweet says 122 meters, so 2 meters higher.
Well,
Wow.
there you go. Alrighty. Well, y'all, also last but not least, of course, Mary, Boca Chica gal, part of the crew out there providing the live camera footage, also bringing us those daily videos, the images, all the things that you see going on in Boca Chica. If you see something and it's an awesome looking video, dollars to donuts, it's coming from Mary down there. So always, everybody in chat, put some thanks over there. She's out there. It's hot. Over 100-degree heat index. It's a scorcher, not a lot of clouds in the sky, not a lot of shade, and she is running multiple cameras documenting history as SpaceX continues to work on these starships that potentially one day are going to take human beings to Mars and maybe other places, maybe beyond. So thank y'all so much once again for joining us here. We're going to go ahead and sign off for now, and we will see you next time. Later, nerds.
Chamber pressure looks good. Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Water towers, fly! Flight countdown, SPE off. SPE off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.